Did you know at the time of creating this video, LEGO has released 110 clones, so picking my personal top 10 was a lot harder than I anticipated, but let's take a look. So at number 10, we've got the 2005 41st Elite Corps Kashyyyk Scout Trooper. He came in the 2005 Clone Turbo Tank and again in the 2006 re-released version, which included the non-light up version of Mace Windu. I've always loved this minifigure. I know many of you will state that the 2014 or 19 examples are better, which if I'm honest, if you look at the print detail and the accuracy, you'd probably be right. But nostalgia has once again overruled my head, and therefore this is why I've given him my number 10 spot. At number 9, we've got the 2011 Shadow ARF Trooper. Now this was a May the 4th promo polybag, so it was probably only officially around for maybe 4 days if you were lucky, at which point the stock tends to diminish pretty quickly. So we've never seen another Shadow ARF Trooper to date. We've had quite a few Shadow Stormtroopers, but never a Shadow ARF Trooper, and for that reason, alongside the fact it was a May the 4th promo, it's been quite the collector's item and therefore priced accordingly. I do actually own the polybag, but like all of my polybags, they remain sealed, so therefore I'm going to have to use stock photos instead. So as you can see, it's got some great unique design. The print to the front and the back isn't overly detailed, but I just love that helmet. The silver eyes and the blue accents are just some understated elegance. Add that to its rarity and I think it would have been wrong not to include it in my top 10, but it only gets the number 9 spot. At number 8, we've got ARC Trooper 5s from the 501st Legion. Now he came as a bonus minifigure in the 2004 Boarding of the Tantive 4 set to celebrate 25 years of LEGO Star Wars, which means long term that could be a set to keep your eyes on. Now I've mentioned in previous videos that there's some pros and cons with this minifigure. The pros being that he's got some great detail printing on the torso and the legs and some lovely detail on the rear, albeit that it's covered up with a brick built backpack. Arm printing is not something we often see with minifigures, but it is included, so another bonus point there, and the head design looks great, albeit no alternative face. The helmet is lacking a bit, if I'm honest. I don't hate the design, I've just seen nicer custom designs, and I think for an anniversary figure maybe LEGO could have done a slightly better job with that. The cons, well, no additional hairpiece and the ammo pouch is too large. That should have been slightly smaller in my opinion. The cloth pauldron on the top has some unique printing, but it just needs to bend down a little bit, which would also cover up that neck gap caused by the bracket for the backpack. No leg pauldron. I get the cloth design wasn't perfect on the older figures, but they could have included some side leg printing just to give some indication of a pauldron, which would have been better than nothing at all. All that said, it's still a lovely figure and I think it deserves a place in my top 10. In at number 7, we've got the 2022 Clone Trooper Commander from the 187th Legion. Unique to the Republic fighter tank, which did include 2 187 clones and additionally the Commander, which for me was the pick of the bunch. He has the airborne trooper style helmet, which looks great, and some really nice print details on the front and the back. The only downside is the printed camo, which as I mentioned previously only works well with side leg printing. I know LEGO will try to do away with the cloth camos due to restrictions when sitting the figures down in vehicles, but I'd rather have them included and simply not use them. Both of the clones from these sets were great. The set itself was a great build, plus the Mace Windu with printed arms was on point. I'm hoping for more of these in the future, but as it stands, the Commander takes the 7th spot. At number 6, we've got Commander Cody from the 212th Attack Battalion, released in the 2022 AT-TE Walker. The last time we saw Commander Cody was back in 2011, which happened to be a worse version of the 2008 example, albeit both iconic minifigures. It's hard to suggest that they are better than this figure. Packed with detail, I think this is one of the best LEGO clones released in recent years. It's got some exceptional details to the front and the back of the torso. I also think LEGO did a great job with the face printing, which includes Cody's face scar. Maybe this one should have made it into the top 5, but for now it takes the 6th spot. At number 5, we've got the 2012 Clone Airborne Trooper. Released in 2020 in the General Grievous Starfighter, it was an updated version of the 2014 minifigure. Albeit the helmet design was the same for both minifigures, the updated version has a slightly more detailed print on the torso and the legs. It also includes a darker grey camo, which overall makes the figure look better in my opinion. It certainly doesn't come cheap and will cost you about £50 in comparison to the older one, which will cost about £15. It's a lovely looking figure and it deserves a place in the top 5. In at number 4, we've got Commander Wolf from the 104th Battalion Wolfpack. Released in 2011, he came in the Republic frigate, and I think if you look back over the years of all the Phase 1 clones released, this one is easily the best, and I think for a minifigure that's nearly 15 years old, he still looks great. LEGO did an exceptional job with the helmet design when you compare it to reference material, and the face printing again just looks perfect. It includes a plastic camo, which I happen to think looks better than the cloth versions. It's a very collectible minifigure, which is why it's at my number 4. At number 3, we've got Phase 2 Rex from the 501st Legion from 2023. Now, over the past year, this has been one of the most talked about minifigures, and albeit I'm pleased that many people got it at a reasonable price, part of me still wishes it was unique to that UCS Venator because I think it deserves to be exclusive. For those reasons, I was toying with including the 2013 version, but I think it's hard to look past the updated detail on the 2023 version. This one has more detail on the helmet and the better leg printing, plus the arm printing is a massive bonus. To think you can pick this minifigure up in a microfighter just makes it a steal. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the cloth camera like the 2013 version, but I think it's the only thing that stops it from being the perfect minifigure, which is why it's at my number 3. In second place, we've got the 2014 Phase 2 Commander Gree from the 41st Elite Corps. He came in the ATAP and the 2016 Clone Turbo Tank. He was released again a few years later in 2019, the only difference being the dark tan markings on his legs, but personally I prefer the original version which has the silver markings. Now, I know Gree isn't a fan favourite in the shows, but as a minifigure design, which is what this is based on, I think it looks awesome. I think the metallic helmet looks great against the green, as does the print detail on the legs and the torso. And I think if you compare the design to source material, I think it's hard to argue that LEGO simply did a brilliant job with this figure. Both the 2014 and 2019 versions are still pretty pricey, the latter being slightly more expensive being exclusive to one set, but the OG version has the edge for me, which is why it's at number 2. And at the number 1 spot, we have the ARC Trooper Hammer from the Rancor Battalion. Released in 2012 as part of the Elite Clone Trooper Battle Pack, they certainly don't make them like they used to. I love everything about this minifigure. The way the dark red just pops against the white just makes it look so slick. The helmet was not only just a unique design but also a unique mould, as was the pauldron cloth design that only came with this minifigure. It also includes the cloth camera, which is an excellent addition, and that red antenna, which is also unique to this minifigure. The detail to the front and the back is perfect for a figure that's over 10 years old, albeit that it's covered up with a brick built backpack. It's still pricey at £25, but it could be classed a bargain when you compare it to others on this list. With all that said, it's the reason it takes my number 1 spot. So I hope you've all enjoyed the video, and please let me know if there are any other clones you would have changed. Was my number 1 the right choice? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, and please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel for more LEGO Star Wars content. I'll see you on the next one.